I'm so excited to drive where's the Z3?
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. So the Z3 is not here right now. My dad actually took the Z3 to go to work today. What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day today. But in the process, he did leave behind the Honda Clarity, which you gotta admit is quite cool with the LEDs. But anyways, we'll talk about all that later. Let's talk about why I missed this car though, so let's get started. So the first thing that I really miss about this Clarity and being able to drive this Clarity is surprisingly the silence. Like, literally nothing. You don't hear anything. And on some days, you want to hear your exhaust. You want to hear your exhaust scream like you would in the Z3. But then there are other days, like this type of day, where it's like, I just want something chill, relaxing, no sounds whatsoever, just the turn signal maybe. And I mean, on some days, I kind of just like having a bit of a quiet experience, you know? Nothing too loud, just something that's quiet, simple, and just easy to get in and just go. And rather than having to, you know, let the car warm up and all of that stuff, it's just, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but just, there are those days where you just like peace and quiet. And then there's other days where you just want to have a loud 1.9 liter four banger, just running it up the red line. And let me tell you, on days where I just want the quiet experience and I have to drive the Z3, they can be a pain on those days. Because it's like, I just want to be able to just, I don't know, go to my friend's place, get some Taco Bell, things like that. I just want to be able to do that without having to endure a loud sound. So I can't get that, though, in that Z3. Versus in the Clarity, it's like, okay, you know what? Okay, let's go get some food, you know, and just go for it. It's just simple as that. It's not a marathon, it's not a headache, nothing like that. And there are days where, I mean, hey, I appreciate that and I love that. I don't really miss the EV part of that, but rather just the quiet part of that. And I know people will say, oh, why not just put the stock muffler back on if you want something quieter and things like that. But it's like, no, I don't really want the stock muffler. I like the raspiness. And I know a lot of people are gonna think I'm crazy for saying that, but I don't know. Something about the raspy sound of the Z3 just, it works for the car, if that makes sense. Anyways, I'm getting very much sidetracked, but it's the fact, oh my god, I nearly just jumped the light and nearly into a Volkswagen Passat. Great. But for me, it's just the fact of like, it's a quiet cabin, there's not much noise, there's not much road noise even, and I have to give Honda a lot of credit where it's due on that one because, man, lack of road noise, it can just make or break the entire thing. Versus in the Z3, you hear basically every little chip in the road, and you feel, well, man, you don't really feel it, but you just hear it. But like, you hear some bumps in the road, yeah, but I mean, that's about it. I feel like this video might come off as me trying to say like, oh, here's why the Clarity is better than the Z3, like I did with the Prius, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, link it below. But no, I'm not trying to make that type of video. It's more of like, on days where I just want something more chill, here's why I miss the Clarity, and instead I have the Z3 to drive, which can be, I mean, on days it can feel like a race car, and not in a good way type of race car. The next reason for why I do kind of miss the Clarity is, this is going to sound like a weird one, the LEDs in the car. And you're going to wonder, what am I talking about on that one? But it's like this, when I come up to the Clarity, especially at nighttime, the LEDs light up and it just looks so cool. You feel like an absolute legend getting into that car. Versus like in the Z3, it's like, okay, unlock, all right, door's not opening, put my knee on the door, okay, door opens now. It's always weird like that. I don't know why the Z3 does it, but I mean, it's an E36 problem, and a lot of E36 owners have it. Anyways, where am I going with this? It's just that the LEDs turning on right as you open the door, it just makes you feel just cool. I don't know how to explain it besides you'll feel cool. And I don't know, it's one of those weird things that I just really like. And when it's like nighttime and I'm coming up to the Z3, hit the unlock key, nothing lights up, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. Versus like in the Clarity, when I unlock the car or put my hand on the door handle and then open the door, it just lights up and you just feel cool, you know? I don't know, call me weird, it's just a cool feeling. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, drop whatever you're doing, rent anything half modern that has LED lights on it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But that brings me on to the next reason why I miss the Clarity, and that's that this thing is reliable, man. Like, it's a reliable car. It's a Honda. Everyone knows Hondas are reliable. And when you think about like my Z3, right? I started up It cranks up and starts up every single time, which you gotta appreciate. But it's like, oh look, I got another check engine light on. I got my airbag light on. Things like that. And you're always like, oh man, what's broken this time, you know? It never wants to be fixed and happy, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't want fixing and it'll stay fixed. It does not matter what you do, something wants to break on that car. And it drives me insane thinking about that. Like, literally, how is it that for some reason everything just decides that, oh, I'm gonna brake now, I'm gonna brake once that's fixed, so on and so forth. It's something about BMW, man. Like, E36 BMWs all have this problem from what I've seen. They always brake right after something gets fixed on it. It's a pain, literally, let me tell you on that one. And it's something that just drives me crazy about my Z3, is that it just never wants to be fully fixed. It doesn't matter what you do, it's just never fully fixed. And versus like in this Clarity, it's like, okay, I have a warning light that came up for like my air filter, and it's gone now. All the lights are gone, and any potential issues that have come on in the past are done, and nothing feels off about this car, nothing feels broken about this car. It just does the job. It's perfectly fine, you know? Like, it's in good condition, good health. Nothing feels even the remotest, I don't know what the word would be. Nothing feels off about this car, you know? There's no check engine lights, no warning lights, no airbag lights, nothing, you know? Seriously, man. It's something I'm salty about as a Z3 owner, that I cannot have a fully functional car. Something has to be broken on the car at all times. Versus like a Clarity owner, or like a Prius owner even, or like any Japanese car owner that isn't like a Nissan, is like, okay, you know what? Nothing's broken on the car. We're good. You know, we're vibing. I'm salty, if you can't tell. Like, very much salty. And that's what I really miss about this Clarity, is that it's reliable. It doesn't matter how you beat on it, what you do to it. It just always works. Kind of want to buy a house, but it's also a really dumb idea, and I don't have money. Another thing that I really miss about this Clarity is the fuel economy. Like, say whatever you will about the fact that this car is hybrid, but let me tell you, car people, non-car people alike, we can all agree to the fact that if we had a car that had good fuel economy, we would all love it, you know? Like, man, that Genesis doesn't sound half bad. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, this car gets amazing fuel economy, and if the Z3 got the fuel economy that this car did, let me tell you, a lot more people would be on board with the Z3s. And if you're wondering just how good the fuel economy is on these Clarities, I once road tripped this car for 3 hours, 100 and something miles, and I got 54 miles per gallon. As we all know, hybrids aren't that good on the highways. I took the car on the highway, and I still got 54 miles to the gallon, which is quite impressive, you gotta admit. The best I've gotten on the Z3 is about 29 miles a gallon. On the worst, I've gotten 14. For context, I have a friend who has a Ram 1500 with a Hemi in it, and he's gotten better fuel economy than 14. It's crazy to think about, like, how do you do that? I have a friend with a Corvette. He looks at my 29 mile per gallon best and is like, how? How are you only getting 29? Because, like, in his Corvette, he's getting like 31, 32. It's insane to think about. Like, I am truly impressed with the fuel economy of a Corvette, and now I'm getting off topic really badly. I'm also really impressed with the fuel economy on this Clarity from what you're hearing. Because it's amazing to think about. It's like, okay, you know what? I gotta go get like maybe a few gallons of gas, you know? Versus like in the Z3 in that same distance, it would probably be about half my tank, you know? And that brings me also to the final point, which is cheap fuel. Like, the Clarity is a plug-in hybrid, as we all know, and the fuel is cheap. Like, when I had the parking garage and I was parking this thing in the parking garage, my electricity was free. So it was like, okay, you know what? I can plug the car in and I do not have to pay a penny for the fuel just to, like, you know, drive it around the city. I would have to pay for it if I have to go on road trips and stuff like that. But in this aspect, it's like, okay, you know what? I get like a free 30 to 50 miles of range and I'll call it a day, you know? Like, I can just go wherever I want, get that Taco Bell, things like that. Even if I do have to fill up the Clarity, though, it's literally like, okay, maybe a few gallons here or there. It's nothing that is a constant that keeps on happening, you know? Like, in the Z3, it's like, okay, you know what? I gotta fill this car up with fuel probably every maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because, I mean, I don't drive much. I don't have a reason to drive much. But when I do drive, I still got to go fill up the Z3 every so often with at least a couple gallons of fuel. And every drive it feels like it'll take up like at least a gallon, you know, on some days. Versus like in the Clarity, the first 800 miles we drove with this car, we did not put gas in it once. And just like that, today's video is in fact over. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Let me know how you feel about me missing the Clarity, even though I have my Z3 now, in the comments below, as along with anything else you guys want to talk about. And if you like what you're seeing, leave a subscribe. And just like that, I'm out. I'm gonna go take some photos for the thumbnail. Peace.